Even in the future, the story begins with once upon a time. Humans and androids crowd the raucous streets of New Beijing. A deadly plague ravages its population. From space, a ruthless lunar people watch, waiting to make their move. No one knows that Earth's fate hinges on one girl. 16-year-old Cinder, a gifted mechanic, is a cyborg. She's a second-class citizen with a mysterious past and is reviled by her stepmother. But when her life becomes intertwined with the handsome Prince Caius, she suddenly finds herself at the center of an intergalactic struggle and a forbidden attraction. Caught between duty and freedom, loyalty and betrayal, she must uncover secrets about her past in order to protect her world's future. Because there is something unusual about Cinder, something that others would kill for. Hello, cottagers. Welcome back to my channel. Today's episode of Books and Baking, we are going to be making some cinnamon oatmeal raisin cookies. I know that these aren't everybody's favorite, but it's one of those things where I had this stuff, so this is what we're making, and we're all going to be happy about it in the end. Today, we're also going to be covering the books Cinder and Scarlet. These are the first two installments of the Lunar Chronicles, and they are written by Marissa Meyer. These books are exceptional. If you like books that give you all the different feelings, you get the cozy vibes, you get the enamored vibes, you get the sitting on the edge of your seat wondering what's going to happen next. You become entranced with these characters. You revile these other characters. You're rooting for the underdogs. You're hoping that the worst things possible can happen to these terrible other characters. Then this is the book for you. These books are a little hard to explain together, mainly because we have to start somewhere. So we're going to start with Cinder. Cinder is a retelling of Cinderella, in case you couldn't get that from the synopsis that I read earlier. This is following the 16-year-old girl Cinder, who is a cyborg. This retelling is done so well. It follows the natural progression of Cinderella, and it does have lots of different nods to the original story, but it is so unique that it stands on its own just as well. I love a good retelling where you can understand where it's coming from, but you can also see that they aren't trying to just ride on the backs of somebody else's riding. Cinder is a cyborg, and that means that there are some strange things that happen with her. So there's a lot of humor in this book because of the reality of being a cyborg. So you're part human, part mechanics, but then also you have this interesting dynamic of she's still very much a human who can feel and has emotions and has love for those around her, but then also can feel the pain and the heartache of not being fully accepted. There is a plague that is happening around this area, and this plague causes a lot of fear in all the people around. So Cinder learns that her sister actually has the plague. So because of that, she is willing to do whatever it takes to help cure her sister. The doctors in that area believe that there must be something about maybe a cyborg that can help end this plague. And so Cinder is somehow mixed up in this crazy cacophony of doctors who are trying to figure out if maybe she holds the cure. But while she's there, they learn that she might actually hold even more than they thought possible. So without giving you spoilers, just know things start happening that get Cinder to where she will end up at the ball. She is in the king's presence, and she is then forced to leave this ball and leave her foot behind. Let's now go to Scarlet, because Scarlet is following Little Red Riding Hood. And yet again, it follows the tale so well while also being original and unique in and of itself. Scarlet will follow Scarlet's perspective, but then also will bring Cinder back in because she is not just from the first book. Their lives will start overlapping, and it is so fun to see some of these wonderful characters that we grew up with interacting with each other, but also in such a unique way. Scarlet doesn't necessarily have a red hood all the time, but she does have red hair, hence the name. Her grandmother has been abducted, and she cannot find her. And so while searching and going through all the measures that she can possibly think of, she happens upon a man whose name is Wolf. Well, while spending time with Wolf, she realizes that he actually comes from a gang called the Wolves, and they are the ones who have her grandmother. So while trying to not fall for this man and not give anything towards these enemies, she's able to find where her grandmother is, and they are now on the hunt to get there and to bring her home. This story has lots of twists and turns. The first one did too, but this one especially, because things have now elevated and escalated because of the first book. There is so much to unpack here that would give so much away. So I don't want to dive too far into it because these are books where almost every single page there is something new and more of an adventure that is happening that correlates with everything else in the book. Just take my word for it, Cinder and Scarlet are some of the most amazing books I've ever read, and there are still 2 more in this series that I have yet to read, but we'll be definitely getting to as soon as I possibly can, because this is such a wonderful series. Something that I love about this series is that it is clean. It is so gorgeously written, and there is so much depth as well. This is a book that I can't wait for Piper to be old enough to read, but it's not one that I feel like she has to wait until she's my age to get into. And don't feel like just because this is technically a YA book that you can't read it even whenever you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. This is such a wonderfully written book that I am sure you will enjoy it no matter what age you are. Thank you guys so much for spending time with me, and I hope that you guys enjoyed yet another episode of Books and Baking. If you guys have not already done so, please do like, comment, and subscribe. It means the absolute world to me, and it really helps my channel. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye.